Let's face it, life is complicated, and so is the YouTube algorithm. We put so much effort into each of these episodes, and I honestly love what I do. And if you could do the smallest favor for me, it'll be quicker than making a cup of coffee. Just hit that subscribe button or like and follow on the audio channels. Thank you so much. In today's episode of Coffee Charge Conversations, we are joined by Daniella Milani. Daniella spent 10 years as a flight attendant and has traveled all across the world. In today's episode, Daniella gives a little bit of advice on how to step out of your comfort zone. And as a business owner of Flippers, she explains how she made that transition from being a flight attendant to leaving everything behind and going all in on her passion. This episode is perfect for anyone who feels like they're stuck in their comfort zone a little bit and needs that little extra push. So if there's something you're passionate about and you're not quite sure if you should take the leap yet, this episode is for you. Danny, do you remember your first flight as a crew and what was going through your mind at that time?
Yes, I do. I was so nervous. I got on board and with all these people in the plane, I was so nervous because I was like, you don't know me, I don't know you, but now I'm trying to tell you what to do and you have to listen to me and I need to be like authoritative, but I'm scared. And I'm like, ah! It was very scary.
And how old were you at the time when you decided to be a flight
19.
attendant?
19. Yeah, 19 turning 20. So yeah. I was going through some form of crisis or something. And then I was like, somebody pay me to travel. And I was like, okay.
And what was that like, that first flight?
It was very nerve-wracking because, people are looking at you. You're supposed to know more than them on the flight. And you do. But I think just because, you're so young and then you have adults and you like, that whole like hierarchy with like respecting your elders, but they kind of need to listen to you. For me, it was very challenging. And like, I had to work on that a lot because I never did well in public speaking. So actually going up to a stranger being like, hi, so I'm going to tell you what to do right now in case of an emergency. And you kind of really need to listen because you will die if you don't listen to me. Like it was very intimidating, but literally practice made perfect. And then once I got into the mindset of like, hey, I actually do know more about this environment than they do, I was like, okay, confidence is here. Like, now you will listen to me.
So would you say that built your confidence up after school?
It definitely did. I'm like an introverted extrovert. Like once I get comfortable with you, then I'm like, yes, we will be friends forever. But if I don't know you, I literally like step back and I'm just like, okay, hi. I'm Dan. Do you want to be friends?
A bit more reserved.
Yeah. So it definitely did give me the ability to start speaking to strangers off the bat a lot, like more frequently than what I was used to.
And what made you, out of all industries, what made you decide to go in the aviation sector?
So it's not the normal, oh my gosh, I love people and I love travel. I love travel. I mean, who doesn't? But my dad actually was a microlight instructor. So I've always been around planes growing up at the airfields, and it's always been just such a nice environment. I actually wanted to be a professional footballer when I was younger, but then my dad's like, nah. So I was like, okay. So I studied fashion design because my whole life is very different. And then it just wasn't my passion. So I was just like, I'm rather just going to leave it. And then I saw an opportunity in aviation and I was like, well, I get paid to travel and experience new cool things. Why not? And that's what I did. I was just very lucky that the company took me in when they did, because I work for a charter company and they don't take in people that are inexperienced or new. They usually prefer experienced crew. And I was like, hi. Take me. I will learn. I can do this.
Did you have a lot of training before you were like on your first flight with, a full flight of people telling them all the procedures and everything?
So the majority of the training was when I did my license. And then pretty much no. And not a lot of training. You kind of just learned on the go. Because with the charter industry, it's so like on the move all the time. You kind of just go with the flow. And I mean, there were a lot of times where I failed or maybe misspoke or didn't know how to handle a situation properly, but it was always nice to be with the crew, even though there was conflict afterwards, where you have a debriefing where you talk about everything and you learn from that a lot, especially going in young with the older crew. It's quite a nice mix. But I was in the service industry for a very long time. I was a waitress since I was 16. So I kind of relied a lot on that to bring that in with being an air hostess, on how to handle people and that kind of thing.
But you have to enjoy people to some certain extent to get involved in like the hospitality service space.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you have your few people that are really nice and that make it worthwhile, and you think, sure, what a good day. Like, I just made that lady's day, or they made my day, or for whatever reason. But unfortunately, the bad outweighs the good quite a lot. I've noticed, especially in recent times. I don't know, there's a lot of like bad energy around. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe
know.
after COVID, who knows?
Pretty much. And I mean, it's sad to see, because I'm just like, you're experiencing something that's out of the ordinary. Everything we do in aviation is against the laws of nature. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, you're experiencing something really cool, which a lot of people don't get to experience. And I'm like, it's still cool. Look at the clouds. They're really pretty, So it's sad that people just take it for granted.
So did you have, talking about like having interesting passengers and people that you had to deal with, did you have any like weird or strange interactions with any passengers?
So many, so many. So a lot of our flying initially, when I started with the company, is we flew a lot in Somalia and like deep Africa. So not your luxurious places. So we transported a lot of people for like, what's it called? Like during the Ramadan period, to go to Jeddah, for them to go through their whole process. I can't remember the names, but it's a lot of village people. So people that haven't seen an aircraft, that don't know how like proper like sanitary toilets work and stuff like that. So I've experienced a lot. I had one lady. So for me, it's funny, but obviously not for her. I didn't laugh at her. Obviously, you are respectful.
Yes.
She came on board. She was rather old, and she came on board. And as she walked down the aisle, she saw her seat, and she scooched in, still facing the back of the aircraft, scooched in, and then saw her seat. And she's like, I could watch her thinking. She's like, how do I get onto the seat? So instead of her scooching back out and just turning around, she proceeded to climb on the seat, turn herself around on the seat, go on her haunches on the seat, and then sit down. And I was like, well, that's one way of doing it. So, I mean, I saw another lady put her baby in the overhead stowage.
Oh.
Closed it, sat down, chilling like there's no tomorrow. And I was like, my love, it's your child. You need to look after it the whole flight. I'm so sorry. So there's been rather strange interactions. Obviously not your normal everyday, like with local flying. But I've had really poor experiences where I've had people throw their boarding pass at me, and I've had to pick it up off the floor just because they don't want to show it to you, because they don't understand the importance of a boarding pass. And I've had a lady scold me from left field because I greeted both her and her husband, but she was fighting with her husband, and then she never reacted to what I was asking them. And because I asked them, are they okay? And he said they're fine. So I was like, cool, no problem. You guys have spoken for you. And then I walked away, and then I came back, and she's like, well, next time I can speak for myself. I'm like, okay, I completely understand. So I've had the spectrum. I've had flights where I've had a problem with passengers because they just weren't understanding. The next flight, I had a passenger that was in love with me and emailed the company and was like, I need her in my life. And I was like, okay, well, That's lovely for you.
I take it you guys aren't together.
No, yeah. Thankfully not. No, we aren't. So it is, each day is a roller coaster. Actually, each flight, it changes.
So when I was younger, I don't really have this fear anymore, but I think when I was younger, like I used to be I had this irrational fear that every time I got into a plane, like there was going to be a crash into the ocean. Like I'd listen to the people in front, like telling me all the safety things, and I would listen like so intensely in case like I needed the oxygen mask or if we were going to slide into the ocean or whatever. Did you have any scary moments on a flight?
I did have I've had two scary moments. The one scary moment was actually flying from Johannesburg to Durban during our summer months, which is the worst time to fly in South Africa because of all the heat, like the air pockets. So there's a lot of turbulence. I don't know if you've ever noticed, like during summer, it's a lot when everyone travels, is like so hectic. There's so much turbulence. And we actually hit a air pocket, and my colleague and I were working together on the trolley, and it dipped so much that the trolley lifted. I lifted with the trolley, and so did she, but she was taller, so she could push us down from the ceiling, and I could hold on to the side of the chairs, and passengers were holding us down. So that was a little scary. Not that bad, but I was like, oh my gosh, okay, welcome. This is happening. But you have to compose yourself as well, because you also don't want to instill fear in passengers and so forth, because they're already freaking out. They're just on the verge. They just need an excuse to scream even more. So yeah, you try and calm them down as much as you can.
That must be difficult though, because sometimes like you internally are panicking a little bit, and then on the outside, you've just got to come across as like everything's fine.
I'll be honest, it's a lot easier than what people think, because flight attendants are trained for worst case scenario. That is literally, during briefing, you talk about worst case scenario, the worst possible thing that could go wrong. You all discuss it so that that's on the forefront of your mind. So when things go right, it's actually such a pleasant day. But you do plan for the absolute worst. Not that it's gonna happen, but that you're fresh and ready for anything that comes your way. You won't be completely ready, but it's interesting. I mean, sure, flight attendants have a skill set of their own, from body language. Just, you don't even have to say anything. Just your demeanor. They can tell so much about people, and you're just so honed in on how to handle situations without even knowing it. Sometimes things just happen and you all just slot into your roles that you need to take up, and it's really cool actually. It's like a superpower. It really is. I'm a superhero.
How did that help you with the way that you related to people? Obviously being around like a plane full of, I don't know, 200, 300 people. And then you get used to that over time. How did that help you with relating to people?
It helped me a lot. It built me a lot, because I always used to take things a lot, like, very personal. If someone's having a bad day and they snap at you, for a long time I took it very personal, until like you actually get used to it, where you're like, okay, it's not about me. It really isn't about me, because I know I've done everything right. I've been kind to you, I've been polite to you, I've tried, and it helped me. I'm not perfect at it yet, but it helped me grow to not take everything so personally, that it's not always my fault. It's not on my shoulders. A lot of conflict, like, I don't like conflict. I don't want to engage in it, but if I have to, it helped me just break into that barrier where it's like, okay, this has to be said now. Like, enough's enough now.
Yeah.
Now we will have a conversation. I will establish what is happening, try and understand your point. Yeah, it's helped me grow as a person quite a lot. Though I don't always hit the nail on the head, but it's definitely been a big part of forming me and my personality.
But it can be tough for an introvert sometimes. Like, sometimes that you should engage with someone, or you should ask a certain question or whatever, and like in your head you're kind of having a little battle upstairs going, like, I don't know, I'm a little bit unsure. But I think sometimes under stress, at least for me,
Mm.
when I'm under stress and I know that I need something done,
You do it.
you almost like you're forced to be that extroverted
Exactly.
version of yourself, or the one that, is going head on into conflict.
Mm. But the nicest part is working within a team is everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. So if I couldn't, for example, for whatever reason, if I've had a bad day or something, couldn't go speak and do that action that needed to be done, I could always ask my colleague, be like, please help me. This needs to be done. This is the situation. This is my mindset. I just can't handle the situation. And then we all fit into the roles. I mean, there's been multiple times where passengers had an altercation with a crew member and say now that's their area that they are working in. Then all you do is you swap so that you don't create more of an awkward situation for the crew member and the passenger. You try and you play it by ear. It's like a chess game. It really is. It's actually really interesting to watch. But yeah, so you work as a team and that helps a lot. It also gives you the confidence if someone else believes in you, then you're like, oh, okay, cool. You know what? Next time I'm going to try. And if I can't handle it, then I know you've got my back. But other than that, it's quite cool.
Okay. And you did, I think you said to me 9 or 10 years?
Yes, 10 years.
10 years of flying. That's a lot of travel.
It is quite a lot of travel. A lot of places we went to multiple times because we used to go away for 2 to 3 months at a time. So it's not just there and back and there and back. So we'd go live in the country. So, I mean, I lived in Iraq for like 6 months. We've gone to Somalia. We've gone to Djibouti. I don't know if you know where Djibouti is, but it exists. I didn't know until I went there. I was like, okay, this is cool. Actually quite a cool little place. And then we started moving into more your European, so like Jeddah, Dubai, and then we went to Europe, so Greece, Turkey. Turkey isn't Europe, but on the borderline. So yeah, a lot of cool places. I've also done like Uganda. I don't know where else. There's somewhere. Africa. Africa majority, because that's where the company was mostly focused on. But now that we're growing and moving in, we moved more to Europe and Turkey. I did say Turkey. Okay, that's fine.
And what did you enjoy the most about the traveling? And what did you find was actually quite challenging?
I think the traveling itself was very like exciting. It's a new place, it's new scenery, you're always experiencing something new. If you have your favorites, so we all have like our best friends in the company, and every time I used to go with my best friend, it was just amazing because her and I were like two peas in a pod, and then we would go exploring, and it was fun. But it is also very lonely. You go traveling. It's the strangest feeling being in a group of people because we used to go travel like about 30, 40 crew members at once together, living together for 2 to 3 months, but you'd feel so lonely because you get homesick. Your normal way of life is now changed. So
Yeah.
it's the strangest feeling.
And now you're missing like birthdays and special occasions, weddings.
Yeah, a lot of those. Like my little nephew was born. I couldn't be there because I was overseas. My one friend, Jessica Shame, every single year on her birthday, I'm overseas. Every single year, without fail. She invites me. I'm like, girl, I'm not going to be there. At least I could be there this year and last year. But yeah, shame. So it is rather challenging balancing like the normal like life, ongoings of like life with always being away. You can never really form proper relationships, friendships, meeting new people, anything, because you'd be here for a week or a month and then you leave for 2-3 months. So they'll be like, oh, Dan's here, and then poof, Dan's gone. Because I could never tell anyone when I was leaving because I'd never know. They'd phone you and be like, are you ready to leave tomorrow? And I'm like, okay, cool. Boom, gone. And then your date will be like, okay, you're getting back this date. And then it's a month later or a week later. And you're like, oh, I'm not going to plan that because you never know.
Did you have a fear of maybe some of your friends that you had made, or people that you had good relationships were going to almost like fade away?
They actually did. So yeah, you do have their fears instilled just generally. Also like my life and their lives are very different. So your life is moving in that direction and they're saying are building their careers and all of that and climbing the corporate ladder, and then you come back and they are so much more advanced in a certain like criteria than what you are because you've been traveling, which is great, but they climbing the corporate ladder, like the normal way of how you're supposed to do things. And then you feel like less than, and it's quite strange, but you don't realize how much you're experiencing being overseas and those kinds of things. So each has its like pros and cons. So they do fade away. The good friends still stay in contact, but it's also very tough to stay in contact when you're overseas and working and then coming back. And yeah.
That's quite wild though. Like it's almost like the way that you said, it sounds like when you come back, you can almost see that person's growth because you
Yeah.
haven't seen them for so long that you expect a certain version of them. And then let's say you see them 6 months later, you can already instinctively see how much they've changed.
100%. And sometimes you do feel left behind. And it's not the greatest feeling, but that's why you always just keep on moving and try other things and do other things, or, try different experiences.
And it's tough these days because I think even for people that live closely or are in the same city as their friends, I feel like as a society we're seeing each other less and less and less. We're like so happy to maybe do even phone calls are less now. It's like we're so happy to sit behind a screen and watch someone's life on like social media, Instagram, and show our life, but we connect a lot less.
No, it's true. I mean, like, I don't know why, but I have this thing, like, when people send me WhatsApp messages, sometimes it gets so overwhelming. I'm like, no, I'm done. I don't want to talk to you. It's not that you're the problem. It's me. I am the problem, but I just don't. It just gets so overwhelming. And then I'm like an ostrich and I shove my head in the sand. I'm like, go away. Please, go away. It really gets hectic for me sometimes. I know it's not an excuse. I am really bad at it. Like really, really bad.
I can attest to that.
Yeah. I do prefer a phone call. Sometimes it is easier, but that also gets overwhelming sometimes. But I'm trying to be better. I really am.
How did you, I mean, obviously you would have gone through times where you did feel extra lonely or you were just going through a bit of a tough time. Who did you reach out to during those times?
Generally it was my parents, because they always so we have a really good relationship and a very close relationship. And then I just reach out to them majority of the time because they're consistent. You know what I mean? Not that I couldn't reach out to my friends, but it was just, I just felt that they would understand more, because they know I'm away. They know all of that, I did reach out to a couple of friends, and sometimes when it's really bad, I did phone them and had my good little cry over the phone and be like, this is so hectic. Or sometimes I just sit and actually just binge watch movies just to take my mind off of it, because it's not going to change in like the next day or two, just to be like, it's okay. It's part of it. And everyone knows it's part of it.
And also in your mind, I think that's the most important thing, is like what you're saying to yourself. You could get all the validation and love from other people, but then once that phone call's over and it's just you in another country or another city, like what did you have to almost remind yourself to be grounded again?
Initially, I'll be honest, I didn't remind myself of anything. I'm not going to lie. I was just like, oh my gosh, my life's over. Everyone else is moving on. I'm just by myself. I'm just lonely. I'm in a foreign country, which is amazing, but I don't want to go anywhere. It took a couple of years to actually just force myself to actually just get out there and explore. I was always so scared to be by myself and explore by myself. I always waited for someone to say, come, let's go. And then I realized nobody did that. And then I'm like, but now I'm missing out on everything because I'm too scared to go by myself. So I almost had to force myself to just go and explore myself. And once I did do that, it was actually a lot easier. I wasn't concerned about home. I was like, I'll see you guys. It's fine. So it was more so, I wouldn't even say like changing my mindset. It was just pushing myself out of the comfort zone because, it's easy to fall into that hole, literally downward spiral all the way. It's so, so easy. It's actually sad how easy it is to be so mean to yourself instead of being really kind to yourself. And I guess that's how I dealt with it, is literally just forcing myself to go explore and actually just start enjoying the place that I'm at, because it's something you might not experience again. You literally, you don't know. You don't know if you're going to come back there. You don't know if you're going to see the next day. You don't know. So you might as well make the most of it.
So it's almost like being a bit more present rather than always trying to plan the next thing.
Correct, yeah. Like hopping on a bus and just going. I did that multiple times. Just bought a bus ticket and said, cool, let's go. And then when I get there, I'll figure it out, instead of, I'm not a really good pre-planner. So I just explore.
Figure it out.
Yeah, I'll get lost. It's fine. Just get lost. Hopefully my phone doesn't die so I can find my way back. But yeah, it's pretty much how I did it.
But I think we all do that to a certain extent. We try to figure out problems in our head. And sometimes you just need to take the first step or take a bit of action.
It's correct. Like, it's hectic because that is the advice everyone gives you. Just get started. And you're like, but no, I can't get started because this. And everyone, like from my dad who gives me advice from what his grandpa says and everyone, it's all the same advice. So it clearly does work. You just need to be brave enough to actually take that first step.
What advice would you give to someone who doesn't travel much, or maybe they are thinking about moving overseas? Let's just work with London.
Okay.
So they love London, okay? And they'd love to move to London, but they are scared to make the move by themselves or to leave what they've got behind. They've got family, they've got good friendships, and maybe they've got a job that they kind of enjoy and they just feel a little bit comfortable. What advice would you give to that person who's just hesitant to take that leap? Because it is a big step.
It's a very large step. I like plan Bs as well. So I love fallback plans. It's not always the best advice to give, but I would also suggest, like, with London being so vastly different from South Africa, especially like weather-wise, it really is very different. I would suggest go on holiday there if you can afford it. Explore, enjoy it, find the things that you like about it, because a lot of people have this preconceived like notion of what a place is before they actually are there, especially in movies.
They've only seen it on a screen, whether
because of movies,
a movie or social media.
Yeah, so you fantasize about this place because you've seen it in your favorite movie or something, and it isn't really like that when you get there. So I would always suggest going there on holiday first. And I know holiday and living is two different things, but if you enjoy it when you're on holiday, then surely there'll be something you can find comfort in when you go there again to like immigrate. Immigration is tough. It's always going to be scary. I don't think there's one person that can ever tell you with the amount of planning that it's going to be easy and you're set. It's really tough, especially if you do it by yourself. But I think if you do it by yourself, it's the best worst kind of thing that you're ever going to do, because you're pushing yourself so far out of your comfort zone. You have no support system. You're literally doing it all for you. And if that's what you feel you need to do, I think you just need to push through it. It's going to be tough. And anything tough in this world is worth having. I mean, losing weight's not easy, but when you do it, it's worth it. Anything growth hurts. So grow. And it's a brilliant opportunity to reinvent yourself. So if there are like parts of yourself that you don't like, that you leave behind, it's a brand new opportunity, clean slate to start again.
What did you leave behind?
Well, I never immigrated.
Fair enough.
So I kept coming back. But within the growth process, I did a lot of like self-reflection. I was never one of those people that I was very like temperamental. So I would react more than like just like process and be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe I am the problem. Maybe what I said or the way I said it was wrong or whatever. And now I'm trying to be better. I still don't do well, but I'm trying to reflect a lot more on me because it's the only thing I can like really, what's the word? Not change. Well, change. Like I can't change you. I can change me and how I react to what you say. So therefore, I've done a lot of growing in that aspect from people that I've met, colleagues that I've met, people that I've met along the way that have taught me that just by being who they are. So I think that's my takeaway more than I've always had the comfort of coming back, but I still love South Africa. So for me, like this was home. I know it's a little shitty. I know it's a little broken, but nothing can replace the people. Literally, even if you see them over there. I mean, we're a vibe. Yeah. We're a whole vibe. Like, I have seen how the crew just dominates a space, like a restaurant, if we all got out together. And they actually, like, just love the vibe, the pure happiness, the whatever. And we eat a lot, so which is even better for them. Nothing can replace that.
It's like it's like an unspoken community.
It really is, and it's so sad that we don't see it here. You know, you only see it and appreciate it once you travel.
It's because like I feel like we just get used to it. Yeah. Like so many things, like you'll be in a time in your life where everything is just going so well and you don't really realize it until it's over.
Correct, yeah. Until you lose it or whatever, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how I felt with university. Like during it, you kind of just take things for granted.
And
you're stressed. And then afterwards you realize, like, how cool was it that I could go see, like, my close friends. I could literally, like, we stayed in the same apartment block. Like, I could get up in the morning, 2-minute walk, and I've got 8 friends to chat to, you know? And, like, I think after you realize and you look back and you go, wow, I was actually
blessed, yeah.
So like, and I feel like we still are kind of in those, like, it's so easy for us to go, oh, we were in the good old days. And like, I've kind of had to teach myself recently in the last few years to like enjoy now because this could be the good old days in
the next 10 years or
exactly.
So. Yeah. No, 100%. I think also it's a South African mentality where we harp on all the bad more than we do on the good. And then until we're forced to like stand together and you're like, whoa, hey, look at us being together, you know.
But instead we're like, oh, traffic light at Winnie Mandela's out again.
Yes, like, oh, really? And I look at those guys and I'm like, thank you. Because if this had to be a 4-way stop, I'd be sitting here forever. So you go, my guy. I appreciate you and I will listen to you. Don't you worry.
So it sounded like you loved what you did, your time as a flight attendant. But then you left that all behind after 10 years and you started Flippers.
Yes.
What was that like?
Well, yeah, so I left my comfort zone. It took a lot of push from 2 of my friends, also just giving me the space to actually just take the leap. But I always felt that there was a part of me that I wanted to do more, even while flying. Like, it was fun and everything, but there was something that I just needed a little bit more because it wasn't my passion, even though I enjoyed it. I just wanted to be more creative. I wanted to be more grounded, build something a little bit more stable. And then the opportunity actually came along. Matt, that you actually interviewed for.
Shout out, Matt.
Yeah, there we go. He actually put me into contact with the previous owner of Flippers, who's Neil. And like Neil did amazing things, and Matt was like, hey, listen, I know a person that wants to like also, you know, change careers, do something cool. And he actually put Neil and myself into contact, and because Neil moved to Cape Town. So then I took over Flippers from Neil, and wowza, what a roller coaster ride. Yowza. No one ever tells you this about being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But still no regret. Still no regret to this point. So it's been challenging. It's been fun. It's been sometimes you're like, this is so cool. Like, hey, I own a company. This is sick. And then other times you're like, hey, I own a company. Like, this is hectic. So yeah, it's been tough. It's definitely tough, but a kind of tough that is worth it. You know, like we said, anything worthwhile is difficult.
And what is flippers for those who don't know?
So flippers, we buy vintage, retro, mid-century furniture. We restore it to its like natural state, and then we sell it to people. So we try and not paint stuff or stain stuff if we don't need to, because you know you're taking away from its natural beauty. And yeah, we also manufacture some items, which is really cool. My dad and I designed a bar chair together, so that's like our little project there. But so much room for growth. Definitely a lot of room for growth. Hopefully growing. I hope so. But yeah, it's been really cool just delving into something that once again isn't my comfort zone. I mean, I know a little bit about certain things, but I also don't know everything about this industry. So it's relearning everything. So I was actually doing it while I was flying, which, like I told you, backup plan. I was like, okay, if it doesn't work, I still got flying. And then I just realized like I was putting more effort into flippers than actual flying. Like I was like, oh, do I have to go to work? Like I'd rather just be home. I'd rather just be doing this or doing that. And then I realized I was like, no, it's time. It's time now to move on to the next thing. Whether it works or not, I mean, it's a challenge and we'll take it.
And
So-
for someone who doesn't like, or they do like to have a plan B, that must have been quite difficult to
It
just go all
really-
in.
So I had a lot of savings saved up. So I was okay. And now it's gone. So now it's really like put you on the forefront of everything, because now it is you have to make it work or not. Look for something else. Like you really have to like delve straight into it and give it your absolute all. So you know, everyone says that not having a plan B is the best option. And it's the scariest, but it honestly is the best option, because now you are forced to do something, you know, with what you have. You really are forced, because now there is no turning back. There is no like, oh, don't stress if you don't make it this month. It's fine. Like I can still pay what I need to pay. Now you just have to graft. You actually have to graft and put in the effort. And it pushes you to new heights and new, you know, avenues that you'd never consider before, because it was always fine.
And you can't rely on those excuses anymore.
No.
Like now, you know, at least when you've got a backup plan,
It's a backup plan.
yeah, you can fall onto it if
Correct. It's a little
necessary.
pillow. You can chill.
Now it's like all in.
Yeah, there's no pillow.
And I'm sure going into, like we said, you know, like just action and taking that first step,
Yeah.
and you're figuring out stuff on the go all the time, there must have been quite a lot of overwhelm and like a lot of doubt.
So much. So much. Like initially, I'm not good in front of the camera. I'm usually the one that takes all the pictures. And you know what? A lot of advice from everyone is like, just get in front of the camera, get in front of the camera. And I'm not going to lie, it took longer than what it needed to, but I did hop in front of the camera. Not enough yet. I'm still trying.
Well, that's what
Exactly, like breaking through that, and just also honing in more, because it's mainly on Instagram. Majority of our clients are on Instagram, and just also creating that connection with them, you know, like, hi guys, this isn't just furniture, don't stress, like there's a whole real person behind this. We're not out to get anyone, we're not out to, you know, because as a consumer as well, like I find it rather dodgy when I just have to buy something online and hope and pray when it gets there it's what I wanted, you know, which I'm trying my absolute best to create that connect and give the clients as much info as possible, and just being like straight up and honest with them. And I mean, not everything goes right. Things go wrong. Mistakes happen. I mean, it's happened where we've had items double sold, and then I have to go back to the other client and be like, I'm so sorry, you paid for this, but unfortunately it wasn't removed from the website or something like that. And you know what? I've only ever had good feedback from clients being like honest with him, you know. We've recently had one where we were selling side tables and it had a little bit of damage on it. And I was like, oof, I don't know how I feel about this, even because the client bought it before we even posted it. And I was like, no. You know what? Let me show him everything, videos, everything. Like this is, and then he asked me what my opinion is. And I'm like, listen, it doesn't look bad in the shade, but in the sun you do see it. And he's like, no. I was like, you know what? Let me just remake it for you. Like when we can, we do remake the top as well. He's like, okay, perfect. And like he received it and he was very like, even though it took a little bit longer than what it's supposed to, he was very like calm and he's bought from us before. And I'd rather establish that good relationship with clients than just pull one over and be like, oh, but it's on the picture. It's there. You could see it. You know, I'm not keen on that at all, you know.
I think people today buy the meaning behind a brand and the people behind a brand much more than ever before. So now products aren't really the important thing. If you like the person or you like, you know, the purpose behind the brand, you're going to be a lot more willing to
invest in
the brand than the actual product. You might have a better product, but you're not really sure about where it comes from or
exactly,
you know, the intention behind the brand might just be like you being sold something. And I think then you view it very differently and you'll probably go for the product that warms your heart a little bit more.
Exactly. And also like I love the interaction from we have really cool clients and you know I try and encourage them to post as much or even give any form of feedback. Like I said, please give me constructive criticism because for me this is also new. So if there's anything I can improve on, I'd gladly do so. You know, if it's something I can help or better or make more seamless, I'm just like, please give that feedback because Neil was really good at what he did. And I don't want to lose all that hard work that he's made, but I also want to put like my own little stamp on it as well. So just take it to a new level and new growth. So yeah, we have really cool clients actually. We have one lady, she interacts with us all the time and it almost feels like a little family when we go drop stuff off at her house. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm like, okay, cool. Please post it. And the other day I posted a little video of like a shave and she's like, so the S is silent? I'm like, yes, the S is silent. She's like, I've been chasing all my life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're adorable. I love it. I love that kind of feedback because, you know, as much as we do sell products, I do want people to interact and enjoy the stuff, you know, give feedback. If they're looking for something, I can find it for you. And if I can't find it for you, I'll direct you in the direction that you need to go to because you know, I don't want you to feel forced to buy something just from me. You know, if I could be the glue that helps you get where you need to go, also happy with that.
Danny, I've loved this conversation.
Yeah, I could talk all day.
I know it's gone quickly, but I've got one final question for you.
Okay.
At this stage of your life, what brings you the most joy?
Why did you have to leave the last question so difficult? Gosh, I've been talking the whole time and now I'm like, what brings me the most joy? I would say quality time. Being able to actually just be there and invested in something. You know, quality time is something that a lot of people take for granted. Everyone's so fast-paced, moving and all of that. I always found myself being like, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time. Like I don't have time. And now I'm like, I want to make time. I want to make time. If you want to sit and chat, we'll make time. Let's sit and chat. You know, it's a small thing that just gets taken for granted. And that's what brings me a lot of joy now is actually knowing who I'm surrounded by. You know, yeah. Hey, that's a really good answer. I'm really proud of me.
That's a really cool answer.
Thank you.
And yeah, I really enjoyed this conversation, Danny. I know you were a little bit nervous.
Very.
I don't think it showed at all.
Really?
And I think you were just super authentic and yourself. And, you know, I think a lot of people, especially in their 20s, are unsure if they should travel, or like, you know, there's so many things to consider. And I think you've really like brought some cool perspective.
I hope so.
So yeah, for anyone listening, please like and subscribe, Coffee Charge Conversations. And yeah, let us know in the comments below what you think about traveling. If you've done a lot of traveling yourself, if there's a place that you really want to go to, let us know. Cool.
Thank you. That was so much fun.